Hi y'all, welcome to my channel, and in this video I'm going to explain to you how I prepared and passed my AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam. The exam, I must first of all confess that I took it 2 times. I'm going to tell you why. So it was a mistake on my part, so that you try to avoid making similar mistake. So the reason I did it twice was, let me show you. So as you can see, this exam, it used to be called CLF-C01. Later on, it was changed to CLF-C02. So as I was preparing for this exam, I was using the material for CLF-C01. So it never occurred to me that this exam was changed. So the day I went for my certification, I realized that there were some questions that I saw that I was not familiar with. I never came across such topics before. So unfortunately, I failed. I'm going to show you my certificates shortly. So I failed. I got home. I then searched for additional information. Then I realized that probably 1 or 2 weeks earlier that the exam was changed. So it was changed, and as you can see, the domains they changed to something different. So, for instance, this domain one used to be class concepts, is still the same in the in the newer version. This domain two still the same. Domain three changed. So it used to be technology, but now it's cloud technology and services. The billing and pricing, which is domain four, now is billing, pricing, and support. And then the exam percentages also changed, as you can see here. So it is important to just be aware of this. So how did I prepare for the certification? I would say that what I used mostly and what I enjoyed was this material. If you have access to CloudGuru, for instance, so CloudGuru is part of Pluralsight, but on Pluralsight they have all technologies, but on Cloud Guru, as the name suggests, is mostly about cloud technologies. So they have a great amount of materials here that you could use. So this material is very good, well detailed. So I would encourage you to use it if you have access to this. So after using this material, if you also have access to Pluralsight, I believe, I'm not sure, but I believe that once you have access to Pluralsight, you should be able to also have access to Cloud Guru. I'm not, don't quote me on this, but I believe that's how it works. But so on Plural side, they have this material, AWS Cloud Practitioner Exam Prep. So this is about, it has about 50 questions, as you can see, 65 questions, as you can see here. So this is like just questions related to the certification. So for me, this worked like a summary of most of the things that I studied. However, this material was used with the older version in mind. So some topics are not covered here. So it is very important to be aware of that. So by the time I went to take my for my examination, this was not updated yet. So if you have access to it, you might want to check it. And maybe by the time you will be watching this video and you want to check it out, maybe it's already updated. I don't know. But yeah, it was very helpful. Um, so one thing I want to point out about this exam is something that I do not like, but that makes sense anyway, is this. Because this is an entry level certification, it contains topics from a whole lot of areas related to AWS. As you probably know, AWS has so many products under the ecosystem. It has so many things. For example, I just come across this. This is not an exhaustive list of what the topics that or the products that you find under AWS, but I just brought this up as an example. So when you go on AWS site, for example, you search, you will find that they have so many things. So this entry level certification content something related to each and every. I don't want to say all the products because I'm not sure, but it contains so many things that I'm pretty aware that you may never get to use if you are working in this field. But like I said earlier, it makes sense that the entry level certification contains some of these, or maybe some of them or all of them. I don't know, but uh, luckily for us, it doesn't mean that all the topics are going to appear in this exam. So it's very important to be aware of this. And what I did that helped me a lot. This might be trivial, maybe it's not useful, or it depends on your learning pattern anyway. But this really helped me. I'll give you an example. When you look at these products, for example, there is something here called AWS Code Pipeline. Here is Code Commit. This one is Code Build. So, what are they used for? What is the difference? So sometimes it's quite hard to remember some of these things. So what I do is that I just take some of them. I go on Google, for example. I search for instance, something called Snowball and SnowMobile. So what are they and what are they used for? So I just search for it on AWS, for instance, sorry, on Google, for instance. So there will be a brief overview of these products and what they are used for. So I just read it. If it makes sense, then it's easier for me. This is just a 30 seconds, 1 minute read to just read it and digest. If you want to know more about it, then you just read it elsewhere. So the point I'm trying to make is that it doesn't mean that everything you would understand everything as you're watching these videos and going through the questions, for example, the question and answers, for example. So looking it up also in a in the overview of it will also help you. So this is something called AWS Snowball and SnowMobile. Another thing, for example, there's something called CloudWatch, AWS CloudWatch, and AWS CloudTrail. So what are they? What are they used for? So it's important to remember some of these things. And so for me, this learning pattern really helped me a lot to prepare and remember some of these things. And then, as you're preparing, some topics that I would suggest that you really concentrate a lot on would be something called, where is it? There is something called here, this is AWS Cloud Adoption Framework, for example. You are going to get some questions from this. I believe this was introduced in the newer version of the exam. I believe so. So this topic is very important. You need to go through it and just open these links and try to read them and know what they are all about. Another important thing to remember would be to concentrate on would be this topic, AWS Well-Architected and the 6 pillars. So it's also important to study this topic. As you can see, it looks a bit similar to this AWS AF, as you can see. They look a bit similar. So you need to study these and be familiar with them. You also need to study the pricing, AWS pricing, for example. You see, this topic is very important. I believe that you are definitely going to come across something from these very topics. And they can be a bit confusing. Uh, so just try to remember that. Another thing that I must advise you to do is this. When I took my first, went for my first exam, I did not realize this, or maybe I did not remember it, that you have the ability to claim additional 30 minutes for these AWS exams, especially this is extra 30 minutes for non-English speakers, non-native English speakers. So just imagine adding additional 30 minutes to the examination time. That is a whole lot of time. So what you need to do when you register on AWS, for example, you go there under exam registration, under exam accommodations. You just try to apply for this for the 30 minutes. Once you apply, you have additional 30 minutes forever. As you can see, it never expires. So do not forget to take advantage of this. I remember when I did my the second exam after applying these 30 minutes. I remember during the exam, I finished everything by within 30, 40 minutes. I finished everything. Then I went back again because I seen that I still had so much time left. I went back, I was going through the questions again to see if there was something I needed to check and something I needed to change, for instance. So by 40 minutes mark, I was already done. I remember coming outside, I coming to the reception, and the lady was like, wow, that was so fast. I was like, yeah, it was so fast. So do not forget to take advantage of this. Another thing I wanted to point out, yeah, I'm going to show you my certificates. The first one that I failed and the second one that I passed. So here is my first certificate, the one that I failed, as you can see. So the score was 687. And as you probably know, the passing score, the minimum passing score would be 700 points. But I got 687. So which means that if I had gotten, I don't know, maybe two or three things correctly, I would have passed the first time. But unfortunately, I failed. Then I got home, I prepared again. So I'm going to show you my second certificate. Here is my second certificate. As you can see, my score here was 739. I wish I had my score was more than this, to be honest with you, but the most important thing is that I passed anyway. So this is how I prepared for my certification. And now I would like to know how you guys are preparing for yours. Have you prepared? Have you already done, taken any exams? What was your experience like? I will be glad to read from you. So please subscribe to my channel. Just post some comment and like and share. Thank you for watching and see you next time.